What the heck is going on, guys? How's everybody? Today we are going to be talking about the refining and how to actually upgrade the grade level of your equipment and just how the refined catalysts work and all that fun stuff. Before we get into it, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe. We appreciate y'all. 2 videos, 1 day. The first one just covering the basics of how to actually work this, so I recommend you check out this video, but this one is probably going to be a lot more helpful as far as actually refining and doing your gear. So let's go get into it. So you can either get to it from the blacksmithing by clicking enhance and going to refine, or you can also get to it from your actual summoner in the equipment, and then we just go enhance and then we go to refine, and there it is. So the first thing that I want to talk about is how the refined catalyst and everything and all this actually works. So the first 2 things up here, the refined stones and the sky stones, these are what are going to actually re-roll your gear. So if you're just re-rolling a whole piece and you're not locking anything and you're not upgrading the grade of any of your stats, then that is all it is going to cost. The second part to this is the preservation stones. What the preservation stones allow you to do is allow you to lock certain stats. So hypothetically, if we wanted to keep this, okay, no, let's go with how we're going to do it. I apologize. So what we're going to do for my actual piece of gear is we're going to save this res because it is the lowest grade. So I'm going to explain more of that in a minute. But so this is going to cost us 18 preservation stones in order to lock that stat. So what we could do is we could lock a stat we want and we could re-roll. However, the refined catalysts are going to allow you to increase the grade of each of these stats. So as you can see, I already have an A, and a B. So if we use my 3 catalysts along with the 18 refined stones to lock the res, what is going to end up happening is we are going to have an S grade, another S grade, and an A grade. Now these stats are going to re-roll. So I'm going to lose the crit damage roll, the crit rate roll, the HP roll. As of right now, there is no way to lock a stat and also increase the grade at the same time. I really do hope CompTUS fixes this because it kind of does suck. But as far as the system goes right now, there is no way that I could keep that crit damage and then therefore turn it into an S at the same time. That can't happen. We're going to release a podcast tomorrow. We'll show an example of that. So at some point I'll add the timestamp from that in the description just so you guys can see more what I'm talking about. But yeah, so let's just show one more time. If we go to the ring. So I currently already have an S on this ring. So hypothetically, what I could do for this is I could just use my 3 refined catalysts. It would increase the C, the B, and the A up 1 grade, but the S would stay the same. This is why it only costs 3 catalysts. So if I do this, however, the S will still re-roll. So unless you lock that stat with preservation stones, it will re-roll. So if I wanted to try to go for a crit damage roll on that HP while also taking up the C, the B, and the A, I could use the 3 refined catalysts and the refined stones and sky stones, ignoring preservation stones, and refine it. So that is why when we go back to my earrings for today, I am locking this res, even though I don't want the res at all and it is a low stat, because what I want to do is have the 2 S's so that the next time that I go to refine this gear, I probably won't have to use any preservation stones. We'll see what my rolls are, but and then I can use less of the catalysts. So it would only be 2 catalysts for the 2 S's. And the whole thing is you don't really want to worry about locking stats until you kind of have all S's. And it is also relatively cheap to re-roll your gear. So if you're worried about locking a crit damage stat, I understand. But it's better to get it to an S tier because it is relatively cheap to just re-roll. So if you take everything to an S tier and it's all complete crap, you can just like re-roll the gear. And the preservation stones are relatively cheap to craft. I did show it in the previous video that I talked about earlier. That'll be linked down below. It is a little expensive. The machine gun clips cost a lot, but you can just scrap your gear for more machine guns. So without further ado, let's go ahead and do this. And let's get some S's and an A rank. I'm super excited. Hopefully they roll good. Okay, so bad rolls, but as you guys can see, we have an S, and an A. So we're gonna go new sub-property and collect it. And just for the sake of showing you guys, let's go ahead and just re-roll this once. However, I don't recommend because you kind of want to take them all to S first. But just for example, this is complete garbage for me, so let's just re-roll it once. And we got much luckier. It's not great either, but it's good enough that I'm going to stop since as I do get more refined catalysts, I will be taking it up even more. So I need 2 more, so I still have 1 more to collect from my guard journal. So we're going to go take a look at where you can get some of these refined stones. So this guard journal is a one-time only, but it is new. If you can manage to beat level 1 of the Light Kamari, then you can collect that catalyst. I am hopefully going to be releasing a video on it semi-soon, but full disclosure, I have not passed it yet. So that's why there is no video out on it. But so I'm going to get a catalyst from there. Unfortunately, I did already buy it from the Galagos shop, so we're going to go check the Galagos shop. But once a season, you can buy it from there. And it costs 30,000 Galagos points, and that's where you want to spend your first 30,000 always. If you have trouble hitting 30,000, then and it takes you 2 weeks, then it's worth 2 weeks. Make sure you still buy it. And make sure you're not wasting your refined catalysts on anything that isn't already maxed blacksmithed. Because if it's not maxed blacksmith, you're just going to be wasting your time anyway, kind of.
Yeah, because when you go from Awaken 1 to Awaken 2, or whatever it is, it rerolls even the letter grades.
Yeah, so if you have all S's and then you go from a 1-star to a 2-star, you have a chance to get all D's. So do not waste your refined catalyst stones there. But yeah, so you can buy it from the Galagos shop once a week. Sorry, not week. It's season, which I think is 2 weeks, right?
Yep.
2 weeks, yeah. So you get 2 a month. So you want to make sure that you're buying that. So for me right now, in a week and a half or whatever, a week and a day or 2, then I'll be able to take that gear up again, which will make it 3 S's and 1 A. So it'll be very close to being finished. And then that's when I'm going to start re-rolling for stats and then start locking the stats that I want and making that gear just absolutely perfect. So again, if we go into enhance, we're just going to show one more time. So once I have this A as an S and that other C as an S, then what I'm going to do is re-roll till I get stats that I like. Let's say I wanted to keep crit damage and crit rate. Let's say they were both S tiers and I wanted to keep them. Then I would lock them and it would lock them and just re-roll the other stats. There is another level of gambling to it. So let's say this HP is a triple roll and I already have a crit damage roll somewhere else. I cannot lock the crit damage and try to re-roll to get the crit damage into that 3. So you could hypothetically, as an Orbia, you could do this with all your characters, but I'm going to use Orbia, you could make sure that all of your highest rolls on every piece of your accessories is all crit damage, hypothetically. It would take a lot of work, but in the end game, that's where you could be. And then my last points that I want to talk about here is I really think you want to focus on your accessories as far as getting them to the optimal perfect stats, because as weapons are very, very good. However, weapons are only good when you're wearing them. You only get passive power from them when you're not wearing them. So this makes accessories a lot more useful because you are always wearing them, whether it be PvE, PvP, no matter what, you always have them. So yeah, there, Chetta pulled it up. Thank you. It says 25% of the original effect. So it doesn't make sense to do the weapons first in the sense that you're only going to get that when you're wearing it, or else it's only 25% of all those S's and all that perfect stats, right? So that's why you want to make sure that you're focusing on accessories first, in my opinion. Again, guys, all of this stuff is my opinion. You might think there's a better way to do it. This is the way me and Chetta kind of theory crafted. We talked about it with Topher a bit too. The podcast will be coming out. I definitely recommend you check that out tomorrow at 10 a.m. But Chetta, do you have anything else?
Yeah, so with this piece here, I think that the next time when you use the refined catalyst, you just maybe even lock these 3 and just refine up this 1, and then you just start spinning it with the 3 S ranks, and even though this one's a C, it doesn't matter, right? And you just keep re-rolling it until you have like attack, crit rate, crit damage, and who cares what's in the C.
Yeah, Shadow's right. So you can save
you
yourself.
Don't worry about this. Yeah, and you don't worry about upgrading this C1 ever, because it doesn't have any rolls into it, right? So yeah, this one has 3. You really want to get this to an S. So I think you had a piece in here. Was it this one? Oh yeah, it was this one because it was only a 10. But yeah, see if you can get another roll just into this top one or this bottom one,
you only have to worry about
then
those
you only have
2.
to worry about refining catalyst up those 2, and you can just leave these other ones wherever they're at.
And then you can prioritize your resources based on the number of level that each of the stats have. So yeah, you can just like the preservation stones are relatively easy if we're talking about the long aspect of things. Like Chet is saying, you can just lock a certain stat that's low and not refine it because it doesn't really matter, and kind of just rely on the rerolls to focus. And then like way down the road in 10 years when we're also playing Summoners War Chronicles because we're losers. No, I'm kidding. But Com2S has that effect. Then you can lock up you can get that stat up finally.
And I know some people have pieces of gear that have like either 4s or sometimes even 5s. And then you can make that really easy because you don't even care about these other ones, what they are. And you just keep locking and just make sure that that's an S5. Yeah. And then you just keep re-rolling it until you get, depending on which character you are, but like probably attack percent. And then you'll have 5 attack percent as an S rank on that piece of gear. And you won't even have to worry about the other stats at all.
Yeah, so there's a lot of like amazing things here. So hopefully you guys were able to learn something today. Hopefully we cleared up some of the confusion. I got kind of lucky. I just have overall more stats. Let's go look at my power super quick. But yeah, we appreciate you guys. If you guys could pretty please hit that subscribe button down below, share with your friends. We appreciate you. I only gained about 2,000 power, but not bad considering I didn't actually level anything up or do anything like that. It was literally just from gaining increase in rolls on my gear. So pretty awesome. But yeah, we appreciate you guys, and we will catch you in the next one.